Once upon a time, in a small town, there lived a boy named Leo. He loved adventures and often dreamed of exploring distant planets and meeting aliens. Every night, he would read his favorite comics about space heroes helping extraterrestrial beings. One day, Leo's wish for adventure turned into reality in a way he never imagined. It all started when a group of boys from school challenged Leo. They claimed that they had caught a real alien and were going to show it off. "You won't believe it. We found her in the woods," said Tom, the leader of the group. His friends snickered, making Leo's heart race with excitement and skepticism. Curious, Leo followed the boys to an old abandoned shed on the edge of town. Inside, it was dark and dusty. The air felt heavy with neglect. In the corner lay a small figure covered with a tattered cloth. Leo could barely make out the shape, but what he saw shocked him. It was a girl, and she was unlike anyone he had ever seen. Her skin was a soft shade of blue, and her eyes glowed faintly. The boys laughed and poked at her, thinking it was just a game. "Her name is Astra," Tom said mockingly. "She's broken, but we figured she could entertain us for a bit." Leo felt anger rise in his chest. Astra looked scared and fragile, and it hurt him to see her treated like a toy. "Stop. She's not a joke!" he shouted, surprising even himself. The boys paused, but Tom just sneered at Leo and said, "What are you going to do, save her?" "I will," Leo replied, surprising himself even more. He knew he had to help her. That night, after the boys left, Leo sneaked back to the shed with a flashlight and some supplies he had gathered from home. Astra was still there, looking even more helpless under the dim light. As he approached, her eyes opened wide, revealing a deep sadness. "Are you here to hurt me too?" she whispered, her voice trembling. "No. I want to help you," Leo replied gently. "What happened to you?" Astra hesitated, looking down at her small hands. "I was found by those boys. I fell from my home planet, and now I am stuck here. I am sick and weak. They just think I am broken." Leo's heart sank. He wanted to take her home and keep her safe. "What can I do to help you heal?" Astra looked up, cautious but hopeful. "You need to find the Starstone. It can heal me, but it is dangerous. You must go to the forest at night, where the old willow tree stands. The Starstone is hidden near it, but guards watch over it." Though fear prickled at him, Leo felt a strong urge to help. "I will find the Starstone. You just rest." The next night, Leo prepared for his journey. He gathered food, water, and a small flashlight. As he entered the forest, the moon was bright, and the trees seemed to whisper to one another. The journey was longer than he expected. Shadows loomed large, and strange sounds echoed around him. After walking for a while, Leo finally found the old willow tree. It was huge and twisted, with branches that looked like arms reaching for the sky, but standing near it were two strange creatures. They looked like a mix of wolves and robots, glowing eyes scanning the area. Leo took a deep breath and decided to sneak around the back of the tree, hoping to find a way to the Starstone without being caught. He got closer and soon spotted a small, shimmering stone glowing softly in the dirt. It was beautiful and pulsing with light. He reached out to grab it, but just then, a loud growl filled the air. The creatures had noticed him and were now heading toward him quickly. Leo's heart raced, and he grabbed the Starstone, clutching it tightly. He turned and ran as fast as he could. The creatures were close behind, their growls echoing through the trees. He ran through the bushes and over fallen branches, dodging in and out of trees. Just when he thought he might be caught, he stumbled upon a small stream. Without thinking, he jumped in, hoping the water would hide his scent. The creatures stopped at the edge, growling in frustration but not daring to enter the water. After a few minutes, when he felt safe, Leo slowly climbed out of the stream, soaked but determined. He raced back to the shed, his heart still pounding. When he reached Astra, she looked up with tired eyes. "Did you get it?" she asked. Leo held up the starstone, its glow bright and warm. "I did. Let's make you better." He carefully placed the starstone in Astra's hands. A soft light enveloped her, and Leo watched in awe as her blue skin shimmered and glowed. Astra smiled for the first time, her eyes sparkling like stars. "I feel strong," she exclaimed, and slowly she sat up. "Thank you, Leo." "But how do you get back home?" he asked, still worried about her future. "I can fly," she said, giggling, "but I need to build up my strength first. You've helped me more than you know." Days passed, and Leo spent all his time with Astra, helping her regain her strength. They would sit under the stars at night, sharing stories about their worlds. Astra taught Leo about her home, a beautiful planet filled with colorful skies and friendly creatures. Finally, the day came when Astra stood strong and ready to return home. She looked at Leo, her eyes filled with gratitude. "You risked everything for me. You are my best friend. I will never forget you." With a wave of her hand and a soft chant, the air around them shimmered. A glowing portal opened, revealing the beauty of her world. "Promise me you will visit one day," she said. "I promise," Leo replied, his heart heavy, yet full of joy. As Astra stepped through the portal, she turned and smiled one last time. The portal closed behind her, and Leo found himself standing alone in the shed, feeling a mix of sadness and pride. He had gone on an adventure, not just in search of excitement, but to help someone in need. From that day on, Leo knew that true heroes were not always the ones in comics, but those who choose to help others in real life. In the quiet town of Harmony, nestled beside a shimmering lake and rolling green hills, lived a kind-hearted man named Elias. He was a carpenter, his hands skilled at shaping wood into beautiful things. But his heart, even more so, was attuned to kindness and empathy. One day, a peculiar caravan arrived in Harmony. It was led by a wealthy, eccentric collector named Mr. Silas, known for his bizarre acquisitions from across the galaxy. Whispers spread through the town about the strange cargo he carried, creatures and objects from distant worlds. Elias, drawn by curiosity, visited the caravan. Among the caged exotic animals and strange artifacts, he saw her, a girl, clearly alien, with skin like polished amethyst and eyes like molten gold. She was huddled in the corner of her cage, trembling, her form frail and broken. A sign on the cage read, "Xylosian, damaged specimen, for amusement only." Mr. Silas, a man with a cruel smile and eyes that glittered with avarice, noticed Elias's interest. "Ah, the Xylosian," he said, his voice oily. "A rare find, though sadly damaged in transit. We were going to sell her to a gladiator arena, but she's too weak. Now she's just for entertainment. Perhaps you'd like to buy her. A pittance, really, for such a unique specimen." Elias looked at the girl, at the fear and pain in her eyes, and felt a surge of anger. "What kind of entertainment?" he asked, his voice tight. Mr. Silas shrugged. "Oh, you know. Poke her, prod her, see how she reacts. She might sing, or glow, or just cower. It's all quite amusing." Elias's heart clenched. He couldn't bear the thought of this innocent creature being subjected to such cruelty. "I'll take her," he said, surprising even himself. Mr. Silas chuckled, a sound like pebbles grinding together. "Very well, 100 credits. But don't expect a refund when she dies on you." Elias paid the sum, ignoring the snickers of the onlookers. He carefully lifted the girl from the cage, her body light as a feather in his arms. Her amethyst skin was cold and rough, and he could feel her trembling against him. He took her back to his small cottage on the edge of town. The cottage was simple, but filled with warmth and the scent of wood shavings. He laid her gently on his bed, covering her with a soft blanket. For days, Elias tended to the alien girl. He didn't know her name, her language, or anything about her world. He only knew that she was suffering, and he wanted to help. He cleaned her wounds, which seemed to be a mix of bruises and strange energy burns. He fed her a nutrient-rich broth he concocted from local plants, hoping it would nourish her. The girl remained unresponsive, her eyes closed, her breathing shallow. Elias sat by her side, day and night, talking to her in a soft voice, telling her stories of harmony, of the lake, of the friendly animals that roamed the hills. He played gentle music on his old wooden flute, hoping the vibrations would soothe her. Slowly, gradually, she began to respond. Her breathing deepened, her eyelids fluttered. One day, she opened her eyes. They were the color of molten gold, filled with confusion and fear. Elias smiled gently. "It's all right," he said, his voice calm. "You're safe now. You're with me." The girl looked at him, her gaze searching. She tried to speak, but only a series of soft, melodic clicks and whistles came out. Elias didn't understand her words, but he understood her fear. He reached out and gently stroked her forehead. "I won't hurt you," he said, "I promise." Over the next few weeks, Elias and the alien girl, whom he named Lyra, began to communicate. Elias learned some of her language, a complex system of clicks, whistles, and gestures. Lyra, in turn, learned some of his. He discovered that Lyra was a healer from her planet, Xylos. Her people were known for their ability to manipulate energy and heal the sick and wounded. But she had been captured by slavers, her powers suppressed by a strange device. Lyra told Elias about Xylos, a world of vibrant colors and lush forests, a world where harmony and healing were the highest values. She told him about her family, her friends, her life before the slavers. As Lyra healed, both physically and emotionally, Elias realized that he was falling in love with her. He was drawn to her kindness, her intelligence, her resilience. He saw in her a beauty that transcended physical form, a beauty of the soul. But their peace was not to last. Mr. Silas, furious that Elias had stolen his property, returned to Harmony with a group of armed mercenaries. He demanded that Elias return Lyra, threatening to destroy the town if he refused. Elias stood his ground. "She's not yours to take," he said, his voice firm. "She's a person, not a possession." Mr. Silas sneered. "You fool, you're risking your life for an alien freak." The mercenaries moved to seize Lyra, but Elias stepped in front of them, his arms outstretched. "If you want her, you'll have to go through me." Lyra, seeing the danger, stepped forward. Her eyes glowed with a faint golden light. She raised her hands, and a wave of energy pulsed from her, knocking the mercenaries back. Mr. Silas was stunned. Her powers, they're returning. Lyra, with Elias by her side, fought bravely. She used her healing abilities to disarm the mercenaries, not to harm them. Elias, with his carpentry tools as weapons, defended her fiercely. The townspeople of Harmony, seeing the injustice of the situation, rallied to Elias's defense. They armed themselves with whatever they could find, pitchforks, shovels, and garden tools, and joined the fight. The battle was fierce, but in the end, the people of Harmony, united by their courage and their love for Elias and Lyra, prevailed. Mr. Silas and his mercenaries were defeated and driven out of town. Lyra, exhausted but triumphant, turned to Elias. Her eyes were filled with gratitude and love. "You saved me," she said, her voice soft. "You risked everything for me." Elias smiled. "You would have done the same for me." In the aftermath of the battle, Lyra used her healing powers to tend to the wounded, both human and alien. She became a beloved member of the community, sharing her knowledge and her compassion. Elias and Lyra remained in Harmony, living a life filled with love, purpose, and adventure. They traveled to other worlds, helping those in need, spreading the message of peace and understanding. And so the carpenter who had risked his life to heal a broken alien girl became a legend, a symbol of the power of kindness, compassion, and the unwavering belief in the inherent worth of all beings, no matter how different they may seem. They proved that even a broken thing, when given love and care, can heal and become something extraordinary. In a small town called Cloverfield, there lived a young man named Ben. Ben was a kind-hearted person, always willing to help others. He worked at a small repair shop that fixed almost anything. One day, he received a strange package at the shop with a loud thud. Curious, he opened it to find a broken alien girl. It was a sight unlike anything he had ever seen. The alien girl had green skin, big round eyes, and a small, delicate body that looked fragile. She lay still, her metal wings slightly bent. Ben thought she looked sad. The package had a note that said, "For entertainment purposes, handle with care." Ben was puzzled. Who would send a broken alien as entertainment? He decided to help her. Ben carefully lifted her from the box and placed her on a soft blanket in his workshop. The alien girl didn't wake up, but Ben noticed a small device on her wrist. It was blinking softly, almost like a heartbeat. He thought that if he could fix her, she might wake up. After searching in his tool drawers, Ben found some small tools and wires. He began to work on the wrist device. As he twisted the wires and connected them, the device hummed to life. A bright light shone from it, and suddenly, the alien girl opened her eyes. She looked frightened at first, but then relaxed when she saw Ben's kind face. "Where am I?" she asked in a soft voice. "You're in my repair shop," Ben replied, smiling. "I found you in a box. I think you need help." The alien girl blinked a few times and seemed to assess her surroundings. "I am Zara," she said. "Thank you for saving me. But you should be careful. They sent me here for entertainment, but I am more than that." Ben frowned. "More than entertainment? What do you mean?" "I have powers," Zara explained. "I can heal and help people, but I need to survive. Without the special energy from my planet, I am weak." Ben felt a rush of concern. "What do you need?" "I need to return to my planet," Zara sighed. "But my wings are broken and I cannot fly." Ben had an idea. "What if I help you fix your wings? Maybe with the right tools and some teamwork, we can make it happen." Zara smiled, her eyes brightening. "You would do that for me?" "Of course," Ben said warmly. "You are not just a broken alien. You deserve to be healed and happy." Over the next few days, Ben and Zara worked together. Ben taught her about Earth, and Zara shared stories about her planet, Lumina. It was a place filled with light and love, where everyone helped each other. The two developed a special bond. They laughed together, shared meals, and Ben even taught Zara how to ride a bicycle. But as they grew closer, trouble was brewing. A group of men had been watching Ben's shop. They were the ones who sent Zara, and they didn't like that Ben was helping her. One evening, as Ben and Zara were fiddling with her wings, there was a loud bang at the door. Ben's heart raced as he opened it to find two burly men standing there. "Where is the alien?" one shouted. "You can't keep her!" Ben stepped forward, his heart pounding. "She's not just an alien. She's Zara, and she needs help. You can't take her." The men laughed, looking at Ben like he was foolish. "You don't understand. She's worth more than you know. Hand her over or you'll regret it." Ben felt fear coursing through him. But he couldn't let them take Zara. He was determined to protect her. "You'll have to go through me first," he said defiantly. The men exchanged glances, then grinned menacingly. "Very well then. Maybe we'll have some fun with you both." Before Ben could react, the men lunged at him. In a swift motion, he pulled Zara behind him. "Run!" he yelled. "Get to the back!" Zara nodded and sprinted toward the back of the shop, but not before casting a look back at Ben. He fought off the men, using everything he learned from working in the repair shop to defend himself. He used tools as shields and distractions while Zara looked for an escape route. Zara felt helpless, watching Ben fight for her. But as she looked at the glowing wrist device, inspiration struck. She closed her eyes and focused her energy on it. A bright light filled the room. Suddenly, the device began to pulse and emit a healing energy that enveloped Ben. The men stopped, shocked by the light. Ben felt a surge of strength. He turned and with one final push, knocked the men back. They stumbled out of the shop, yelling angrily as they ran away. Zara rushed to Ben's side, her eyes wide with worry. "Are you okay?" Ben smiled, breathing heavily. "I am now, thanks to you." "You used your powers," he said, amazed. "Yes," Zara said, a shy smile appearing on her face. "But I can only do it when I feel safe and cared for." Ben nodded, understanding that their bond gave her strength. "Now, let's fix those wings, shall we?" With renewed determination, they worked late into the night. Together, they fashioned new wing frames out of materials from Ben's shop. With every small success, Zara's confidence grew. Finally, the wings were ready. Ben helped Zara put them on. They glimmered in the light, looking beautiful and strong. Zara felt the energy within her return, pulsing with each beat of her heart. "I can feel it," she exclaimed. "I can fly again." Ben grinned. "That's amazing, but where will you go?" Zara looked at him with teary eyes. "I want to take you with me, Ben. You helped me when no one else would. You are my friend." Ben's heart warmed. "I would love to see your world, but I can't leave here yet. I have a life to live. But I promise, I'll help you return home." They shared laughter and plans for the future. With her wings fixed, Zara was more than just an entertainment item. She was a friend, a guardian, and a beacon of hope for Ben. Finally, the day came for Zara to leave. Ben watched her rise into the sky, her wings shimmering in the sunlight. As she soared higher, he felt a sense of joy for her freedom, knowing that he had not only healed her, but had also discovered the true meaning of friendship, and even though they were far apart, their bond would always unite them. Ben wiped away, a tear smiling widely. "You'll always be a part of Cloverfield, Zara." And with that thought, the adventure of their lives began. In the quiet village of Meadow Creek lived a kind-hearted farmer named Ethan. He was known for his gentle nature and his love for all living things. One day, a strange object crashed near his farm. It was a spaceship, unlike anything he had ever seen. When the villagers cautiously approached, they found a young alien girl inside. She was injured and scared. Her skin was a pale blue and her eyes were large and black. The village leader, Mr. Johnson, decided she was too much. "Trouble. She's broken," he declared. "Let's give her to Ethan. He likes fixing things." Ethan, despite his surprise, accepted the alien girl. He named her Lyra. He took her to his farmhouse and laid her on his bed. Lyra was weak, her breathing shallow. Ethan examined her injuries. Her left leg was twisted at an unnatural angle, and several cuts marked her body. He had never treated an alien before, but he knew he had to help. He cleaned her wounds with warm water and carefully splinted her leg using wood from his barn. Days turned into weeks. Ethan stayed by Lyra's side, nursing her back to health. He fed her soft foods and told her stories of his life on Earth. Lyra, in turn, began to communicate with him through gestures and soft, melodic sounds. Ethan learned that she was from a planet called Xylos, far beyond the stars. Her ship had malfunctioned, causing it to crash. As Lyra healed, a bond grew between her and Ethan. He saw her not as a broken alien, but as a living being in need of care. She saw him as a savior, a kind soul who had offered her help when everyone else had turned away. One evening, Lyra used a small device on her wrist to project a holographic image. It showed her home planet, Xylos, a world of lush forests and floating cities. She looked at Ethan, her eyes filled with longing. Ethan understood. Lyra wanted to go home. But how could he get her there? He was just a simple farmer. He couldn't fix a spaceship. He couldn't travel to another galaxy. Yet he couldn't bear the thought of Lyra being stranded on Earth forever. He decided to seek help from Dr. Eris, a retired scientist who lived in a secluded cabin on the outskirts of Meadow Creek. Dr. Eris was rumored to have studied alien life in his younger years. Ethan carefully carried Lyra to Dr. Eris's cabin. The scientist, a wizened old man with a twinkle in his eye, was fascinated by Lyra. He examined her and her technology, his mind racing with possibilities. "This is extraordinary," he exclaimed. "Her ship can be repaired, but it will require a rare element called quantum crystal. It's found only in the crystal caves, deep within the Shadow Mountains." The Shadow Mountains were a dangerous place, filled with treacherous terrain and wild creatures. The villagers warned Ethan against going there. "No one who enters the Shadow Mountains ever returns," they said. But Ethan was determined. He had to help Lyra get home, no matter the risk. He prepared for the journey, gathering supplies and crafting weapons for protection. Lyra tried to dissuade him, but Ethan was resolute. "I promise to help you," he said. "And I will." Ethan and Dr. Eris set off for the Shadow Mountains, with Lyra accompanying them in a makeshift carrier. The journey was arduous. They navigated through dense forests, crossed raging rivers, and climbed steep cliffs. Along the way, they encountered strange and dangerous creatures. Ethan fought bravely, protecting Lyra and Dr. Eris from harm. Finally, they reached the crystal. Caves. The caves glowed with an eerie light, the walls lined with shimmering crystals. As they ventured deeper, they were confronted by a large reptilian creature guarding the quantum crystal. The creature was fierce and powerful, its eyes burning with hatred. Ethan knew he couldn't defeat it alone. He turned to Lyra. "Use your technology," he urged. Lyra, using her wrist device, emitted a high-frequency sound wave. The sound disoriented the creature, giving Ethan an opening. He lunged forward, striking the creature with his makeshift spear. The creature roared in pain and retreated into the darkness. Ethan quickly gathered a piece of quantum crystal and hurried back to Dr. Eris and Lyra. With the quantum crystal in hand, they returned to Meadow Creek. Dr. Eris worked tirelessly to repair Lyra's ship, using the crystal as a power source. Days later, the ship was ready. Lyra stood before Ethan, her eyes filled with gratitude. "You risked your life for me," she said. "I will never forget you." Ethan smiled. "You're like a daughter to me, Lyra. I'm just glad I could help." Lyra boarded her ship, and with a final wave, she soared into the sky, heading back to her home planet Xylos. Ethan watched until the ship disappeared into the stars. He knew he would never see Lyra again, but he was content. He had done the right thing. He had shown kindness to a stranger, and in doing so, he had changed his life forever. Life in Meadow Creek returned to normal, but Ethan was no longer just a simple farmer. He was a hero, a friend to an alien, a testament to the power of compassion. He continued to tend his farm, but he always looked up at the stars, wondering about Lyra and her life on Xylos. He knew that somewhere, far beyond the reach of human understanding, a broken alien girl was now healed, thanks to his kindness and bravery. The story of Ethan and Lyra became a legend in Meadow Creek, a reminder that even the smallest act of kindness can have the greatest impact. In a small town nestled between high mountains and lush forests, there existed a secret laboratory. This lab was known for its strange experiments and mysterious projects. People whispered about the scientists who worked there, saying they were trying to make wonders and marvels beyond anyone's imagination. One day, a young man named Sam, curious and bored with his simple life, found himself drawn to the laboratory. Sam had always been fascinated by science, especially about life from other worlds. However, before he could reach the entrance, he was stopped by a guard. "Where do you think you are going?" the guard asked, crossing his arms. "I just want to see what's inside," Sam replied. The guard sighed. "Not a chance. This place is off-limits to civilians." Just as Sam was about to turn away, he overheard voices from behind a metal door. "Just give it to him. It's not like we need her anymore," said one scientist. "Yes, but what if he finds out what she really is?" replied another. Sam's curiosity piqued. He pressed his ear against the door and listened hard. "Let him try to fix her. It will be amusing, especially watching how he fails," the first scientist said with a laugh. Unable to contain his curiosity any longer, Sam slipped away, eager to learn more about this strange situation. After some time, he learned that they were talking about an alien girl named Zyla. She had been captured during a space mission and brought to Earth. But something had gone terribly wrong, and Zyla was now injured. The scientists considered her nothing more than a toy, something to entertain themselves. Sam felt a twinge of sadness for her. Determined to help, Sam returned to the lab later in the night. He managed to find an open window and climbed inside. The laboratory was vast and filled with strange machines and flickering lights. As he hurried through the corridor, he felt a mix of fear and excitement. After avoiding a few more guards, he found a small room. Inside, Zyla lay on a table. She was small, with delicate blue skin that glowed softly in the dim light. Her wing-like arms were broken, and she looked weak and frail. "Oh no," Sam whispered, feeling a rush of sympathy. He knew he had to save her. He glanced around the room and saw various tools scattered on a nearby table. He grabbed a few items, hoping they might help her. It was then he heard footsteps approaching. Quick as a flash, he hid behind a curtain, his heart pounding. Two scientists entered the room. "Did you see her?" one said. "She might not survive the night." "Yes," the other replied. "But we don't care. It's just an alien." Sam's hands tightened into fists. How could they be so cruel? He waited until they left, before slowly stepping out from behind the curtain. Zyla's eyes opened slightly. Who are you?" she murmured, her voice weak. "I'm Sam," he said softly. "I'm here to help you. I won't let them hurt you." With newfound determination, Sam set to work. Using the tools, he tried to mend Zyla's broken wings and heal her wounds. He remembered stories of healing through care and love, so he spoke to her gently, telling her about Earth and sharing stories of friendship and bravery. As the hours passed, Zyla's strength slowly returned. "Thank you, Sam. Why do you help?" "Me?" she asked, looking at him with gratitude. "I couldn't let them treat you like this," he replied. "Everyone deserves kindness, no matter where they come from." Zyla smiled weakly, her eyes sparkling with hope. Yet as Sam continued working, alarms suddenly blared through the laboratory. Panic rushed through him. "Sam!" Zyla cried. "You must go, they'll catch you." "No, I can't leave you, we can escape together," he insisted. Just then, the door swung open and scientists poured into the room, furious and confused. "Stop! What are you doing here?" one shouted. Sam grabbed Zyla's hand. "We're leaving! You can't keep her!" The guards moved closer, but Zyla, feeling stronger, waved her hand. A soft, bright light enveloped her, and suddenly her wings glowed. With a sweep of her arms, she created a powerful gust of wind that pushed the scientists back. "Go," Zyla commanded, and Sam dashed toward the door, pulling her along. They ran down the hall, through the chaos of panicked scientists. With each moment, Sam felt the fear weighing on him, but the thrill of adventure pushed him forward. They reached a side entrance that led outside. The moon lit their path as they stumbled into the cool night air. However, the lab was not finished with them yet. The guards saw them escape and shouted for backup. Sam looked back, realizing they couldn't just run. They needed a plan. "Zyla, can you fly?" he asked breathlessly. "Yes, but only for a short distance," she replied, glancing at the screaming alarms behind them. "Then we'll use it," he said, taking a deep breath. With the guards closing in, Zyla spread her wings wide, and Sam held onto her tightly. The energy from her glowing body filled him with courage. She soared into the sky, taking off above the trees and into the stars. Sam felt the rush of wind and stared down at the world beneath him. Together they flew away from the laboratory that had tried to keep them apart. As they glided through the night, their hearts soared with hope and new friendship. At dawn, they landed safely in a quiet field far from the lab. Breathless but joyful, they finally stopped running. "Thank you, Sam. You saved my life," Zyla said, joy sparkling in her eyes. "I couldn't have done it without you," Sam replied, smiling. From that day forward, Sam and Zyla shared their adventures under the vast sky. They learned from each other, and their bond grew deeper. What began as entertainment turned into an incredible friendship. Sam learned the true meaning of courage, and Zyla found a place where she belonged. Together, they promised to protect one another and explore the wonders of a universe that held so many mysteries. In the quiet town of Harmony Ridge, nestled far from the bustling city, lived a man named Ethan. Ethan was a simple soul, a carpenter by trade, with kind eyes and a gentle heart. He lived a solitary life, finding solace in the rhythm of his work and the quiet beauty of nature. One day, a peculiar package arrived at his doorstep. It was an offer, a strange one at that, from a shadowy organization known only as the Consortium. They proposed to give him a unique companion, an alien girl, for his entertainment. Ethan was taken aback. The idea of owning someone, let alone an alien being, repulsed him. Yet curiosity gnawed at him. He knew the Consortium was rumored to possess technology far beyond human comprehension, and the thought of encountering an extraterrestrial being was undeniably intriguing. After days of contemplation, he decided to accept, driven more by a desire to understand than any intention of exploitation. The alien girl arrived in a sterile container, unconscious and frail. Her skin was a delicate shade of lavender, and large, luminous eyes were shut. Ethan gently lifted her out, his heart sinking at her condition. She was clearly mistreated, bearing marks of neglect and experimentation. This was no entertainment piece. This was a living being in desperate need of help. He named her Lyra. He cleaned her wounds, fed her nutrient-rich fluids, and spoke to her in soothing tones, even though he didn't know if she could understand him. Days turned into weeks, and, slowly, Lyra began to respond. Her eyes fluttered open, revealing a depth of intelligence that defied her fragile appearance. Communication was a challenge. Lyra's language was unlike anything Ethan had ever heard. Using gestures, drawings, and a rudimentary translation device he managed to acquire, they slowly began to understand each other. He learned that Lyra was from a peaceful planet, captured by the Consortium for their cruel experiments. As they communicated, a bond formed between them, a connection that transcended language and species. Ethan saw in Lyra a gentle soul, being of immense intelligence and sensitivity. He was no longer just her caretaker, he was her friend, her protector. He couldn't bear the thought of returning her to the Consortium. News of Lyra's arrival and Ethan's activities didn't stay secret for long. The Consortium, displeased with Ethan's misuse of their property, sent agents to retrieve her. They arrived in Harmony Ridge with advanced weaponry, prepared to take Lyra by force. Ethan knew he was no match for them, but he couldn't abandon Lyra. He devised a plan, using his knowledge of the town and the surrounding woods to create traps and diversions. He turned his quiet home into a fortress, ready to defend Lyra with everything he had. The agents of the Consortium were ruthless. They stormed Ethan's home, tearing through his defenses. Ethan fought back with courage he didn't know he possessed, using his carpentry tools as weapons. He managed to hold them off for a while, but they were relentless. During the chaos, Lyra revealed a power she had kept hidden. She possessed telekinetic abilities, weakened by her captivity, but still potent. She used her powers to disarm the agents, creating openings for Ethan to strike. Together they managed to repel the first wave of attackers, but they knew it was only a matter of time before the consortium returned with greater force. Ethan decided they had to leave Harmony Ridge to find a place where Lyra could be safe. They packed what little they could carry and fled into the woods, pursued by the relentless agents. Their journey was fraught with danger. They navigated treacherous terrain, evaded surveillance drones, and outsmarted pursuing agents at every turn. Ethan's ingenuity and Lyra's telekinetic abilities proved to be a formidable combination. Along the way, they encountered others who had been wronged by the consortium. A former scientist who had defected, a group of activists fighting against their exploitation, all willing to help Ethan and Lyra in their quest for freedom. These allies provided them with resources, information, and a network of safe houses. They learned that the consortium's reach was vast, their influence insidious. They were involved in everything from illegal weapons trade to genetic experimentation. Lyra was just one of many victims, and Ethan realized that their struggle was bigger than just saving her. It was about fighting against a system of oppression. They continued their journey. Lyra's health began to deteriorate. The years of captivity and experimentation had taken their toll. Ethan knew he had to find a way to heal her, but the technology she needed was beyond his reach. He remembered the former scientist who had helped them, who had spoken of a hidden research facility where the consortium conducted their most secret experiments. It was a dangerous place, heavily guarded, but it held the key to Lyra's survival. Ethan and Lyra, along with their allies, infiltrated the facility. They navigated through a maze of corridors, avoiding security cameras and armed guards. They reached the research lab where Lyra had been held, and there they found the technology she needed. But the consortium was waiting for them. They had anticipated Ethan's move and set a trap. A fierce battle ensued, with Ethan and his allies facing off against heavily armed security forces. Lyra, despite her weakened condition, used her telekinetic powers to defend them. During the battle, Ethan reached the machine that could heal Lyra. He worked frantically trying to activate it, but the controls were complex and unfamiliar. The consortium's leader appeared, a cold and calculating man who had orchestrated Lyra's capture. He taunted Ethan, telling him that he was a fool for trying to defy them. He raised his weapon, ready to eliminate Ethan and reclaim Lyra. But Lyra intervened, using her telekinetic powers to disarm him. Ethan finally activated the machine. A beam of energy enveloped Lyra, and he watched as her wounds began to heal, her strength returning. The consortium's leader, seeing his plans unraveling, ordered his forces to attack, but it was too late. Lyra, now fully healed, unleashed the full extent of her powers. She disabled the security systems, neutralized the guards, and turned the facility against the consortium. The battle was over. In the aftermath, Ethan and Lyra, along with their allies, exposed the consortium's crimes to the world. The organization was dismantled, its leaders brought to justice. Lyra became an ambassador for her people, working to promote peace and understanding between species. Ethan returned to Harmony Ridge, no longer a simple carpenter, but a hero who had risked his life to save an alien girl. He continued his work, building homes and furniture, but his life was forever changed. He had learned that even the smallest act of kindness could have a profound impact, and that love and compassion could transcend any barrier, even those between worlds. Lyra often visited him, and their bond remained strong, a testament to the power of friendship and the courage to stand up for what is right. Once upon a time, in a distant future, there was a young man named Leo. He lived on a planet called Zarnok, known for its advanced technology and strange creatures. Leo was a kind soul, but he had a tough job in a big entertainment company. His job was to entertain people with thrilling shows that featured exotic creatures from around the universe. One day, he got a new assignment that turned out to be unexpected. The company had received an alien girl. She was no ordinary alien. She was a member of a rare species known as the Mirans. The Mirans were beautiful and graceful, but they also had a secret. They were known for their healing abilities, which made them highly valuable. When Leo was given this alien girl, he was shocked. She was broken, hurt, and scared. Her name was Lyra. Lyra had deep blue skin and silver hair that flowed like water. She had a gentle face, but her eyes were filled with sadness. Leo could see that the entertainment company intended to use her for shows, making her perform tricks and entertain their audience. But Lyra was in pain and needed help, not exploitation. The first day at the facility, Leo watched Lyra from a distance. He noticed her struggle to walk, as she had hurt her leg during her capture. Instead of joining his colleagues in planning the next show, Leo chose to stay by her side. He sat quietly, hoping she would let him help her. Lyra was hesitant at first, but slowly she began to trust him. It made Leo happy to see a small smile flicker across her lips. "Why are you here?" she asked softly, her voice a gentle whisper. "I want to help you, Lyra." "You shouldn't be hurt," Leo replied. "You are not just a means of entertainment." "But they will force me to perform," Lyra said, her voice trembling. "If I don't, they will hurt me more." Leo felt his heart ache for her. He knew that saving her from the clutches of the entertainment company would be dangerous, but he couldn't let her suffer. He began to devise a plan to help her escape and heal. In the coming days, Leo approached Lyra daily, helping her with simple exercises to strengthen her leg. He spent hours telling her stories about life on Zarnok, encouraging her to see hope in her situation. Their bond grew, and soon they became close friends. Lyra even shared her own stories about her home planet, Solania, a beautiful world, filled with healing springs and vibrant flowers. One evening, Leo discovered something special. With her healing abilities, Lyra could mend broken things, including herself. He was amazed by how her touch could heal small wounds on his fingers when he accidentally scraped them. Inspired, he realized if he could get Lyra to a safe place, she might heal herself completely, but getting her out was not going to be easy. The owner of the entertainment company, Mr. Drax, was a ruthless man who only cared about money and showbiz. He had a team of guards who enforced his rules strictly. Leo knew the risks involved, but he was determined to help Lyra. He shared his plan with her. "We can leave at night," Leo whispered. "The guards will be busy watching the shows. We can sneak out through the back entrance." Lyra's eyes widened in fear and excitement. "What if they catch us?" "I will protect you," Leo promised. He felt a surge of courage. For the first time, he was ready to stand up against the unfairness around him. The night arrived, and the moonlight glimmered softly on the surface of the planet. Leo and Lyra moved quietly through the dark corridors of the facility, their hearts pounding in their chests. As they approached the back entrance, the sound of laughter and celebration filled the air from the showroom. Suddenly they heard steps behind them. It was a guard, walking their way. Leo quickly pulled Lyra into a dark corner, holding his breath. The guard passed, oblivious to their presence. After a tense moment, Leo sighed in relief. "Let's keep going," he urged. They were close now, just a few steps away from freedom. Finally, they made it to the back entrance. But just as they were about to step outside, Mr. Drax appeared, blocking their way. His face was twisted in anger. "So, you thought you could escape?" he sneered. "The alien girl is worth a fortune, and I won't let you ruin my plans." Lyra trembled, hiding behind Leo. He stood firm, his heart racing. "We won't let you hurt her anymore, Drax." Mr. Drax laughed, a harsh sound that echoed in the night air. "You think you can protect her? You're just a nobody." "Guards!" But before the guards could reach them, Lyra stepped forward, surprising both Leo and Drax. She raised her hands, focusing her energy. A warm light radiated from her, and suddenly the guards stopped in their tracks, mesmerized. They were entranced by the glow, forgetting their orders. "Now, Lyra!" Leo shouted, realizing this was their chance. Together, they dashed out of the facility and into the night. Once outside, they didn't stop. They ran as fast as they could until they reached the edge of a nearby forest. Panting and exhausted, they collapsed under a tree. Leo looked at Lyra, amazed. "You did it. You healed them," he said breathlessly. Lyra smiled, her eyes sparkling with newfound strength. "I can heal others too, Leo. My people believe. I can bring hope." Now safe, they decided to find a place where Lyra could heal completely. They set out on an adventurous journey together, traveling to the hidden springs of Solania. With each step, Leo felt more alive with purpose, willing to protect his friend at all costs. Days turned into weeks as they traveled. Lyra grew stronger and more confident, and in return, she helped Leo find his own courage. Their bond became unbreakable as they faced challenges together. They encountered wild animals, navigated tricky terrains, and shared laughter under the stars. Finally, when they reached Solania, its beauty took their breath away. The bright colors of the flowers filled the land, and healing springs bubbled with clear blue water. Lyra gazed at her home with tears in her eyes. "It's perfect," she whispered. In this safe haven, Lyra healed not only herself but also Leo's heart, showing him the true meaning of friendship and sacrifice. As they stood by the healing spring, Leo made a promise that he would always stand by her side, no matter the odds. Together, they embraced their new beginning, where hope and healing ruled their lives, leaving behind the darkness of the entertainment industry forever. In the year 2342, Earth had made contact with several alien civilizations. Some were friendly, others indifferent, and a few were downright hostile. Among the indifferent ones were the Zidonians, a technologically advanced race known for their bizarre customs and a strange fascination with Earth's entertainment. One day, a Zidonian delegation visited Earth, offering advanced technology in exchange for something they called human ingenuity. Earth, eager for technological advancement, agreed. The Zidonians, in turn, requested something unusual, a human to care for a damaged alien being they had found drifting in space. The alien, they explained, was from a species unknown to them and had suffered severe trauma. They offered the alien as a form of entertainment, a challenge for a human to try and fix what they considered broken. That's how Alex, a young veterinarian with a passion for the unusual, found himself chosen for the task. He wasn't a doctor, but he was known for his compassion and ability to connect with animals, no matter how strange. The Zidonians delivered the alien in a large, sterile container. Alex, along with a team of scientists, cautiously opened it. Inside, lying on a biobed, was a creature unlike anything they had ever seen. She was small, no more than 4 feet tall, with skin that shimmered with an iridescent blue. Large, sorrowful eyes dominated her delicate face, and thin, frail limbs lay motionless at her sides. Wires and tubes were attached to her body, remnants of Zidonian attempts to stabilize her. "She's beautiful," Alex whispered, his heart aching at her condition. The scientists, however, were more clinical. "Her neural activity is erratic," one of them said. The Zidonians said she suffered severe trauma, possibly psychological. They couldn't even determine her species or language. Alex spent the next few days just observing her. He learned that her name was Lyra. It came to him in a dream, a soft whisper in his mind. He spoke to her, telling her about Earth, about his work, about his hopes for her recovery. He read her stories, played her music, anything to stimulate her mind. Slowly, Lyra began to respond. A flicker of her eyelids, a slight twitch of her fingers. Alex was ecstatic. He knew it would be a long road, but he was determined to help her. The Zidonians, meanwhile, were growing impatient. They checked in regularly, their leader, a tall, slender being named Zorgon, expressing his doubts. "We do not understand your attachment," Zorgon said to Alex one day. "She is damaged goods. Why waste your time?" "Because she's alive," Alex replied, his voice firm, "and every living being deserves a chance." Zorgon merely shrugged, his multifaceted eyes showing no emotion. "As you wish, but do not expect miracles." As Lyra grew stronger, Alex delved deeper into her past. Using a neural interface, he began to explore her memories, fragmented and distorted as they were. He saw glimpses of a lush, green planet, a vibrant civilization, and then destruction. Fire rained from the sky, and towering structures crumbled. He saw Lyra, running, screaming, her family disappearing in a blinding light. The trauma was immense. Alex understood now why she was so broken. She had lost everything. He decided to focus on healing her mind, to help her process the trauma and rebuild her life. He used virtual reality to create a peaceful environment, a replica of her home world based on the fragments of her memories. He spent hours with her in this virtual world, talking, playing, and simply being there for her. Lyra started to speak, her voice a melodic whisper. She told him about her people, the Aravians, and their deep connection to nature. She spoke of their art, their music, and their peaceful way of life. She also spoke of the war, a conflict with a ruthless expansionist race known as the Krill. As Lyra healed, a bond formed between her and Alex. He was no longer just her caretaker, he was her friend, her confidant, her anchor in a strange and hostile world. He found himself falling in love with her gentle spirit, her resilience, and her unwavering hope. The Zidonians, however, were growing weary of the experiment. They had seen enough. They wanted to take Lyra back, to study her, dissect her, and perhaps discard her. Alex couldn't let that happen. He knew that Lyra, despite her progress, was still vulnerable. Returning her to the Zidonians would be a death sentence. He decided to take a drastic step. He would help her escape. With the help of a few trusted colleagues, Alex planned their escape. They disabled the security systems, bypassed the surveillance cameras, and prepared a small spacecraft for their journey. The night of the escape, Alex led Lyra through the darkened corridors of the research facility. They moved silently, like shadows, avoiding detection. As they reached the hangar, they were confronted by Zorgon and his guards. "I knew you would try something foolish," Zorgon said, his voice cold. "Give us the alien, and we will let you live." "I can't do that," Alex said, his voice trembling but firm. "She's not yours to take." Zorgon gestured, and the guards moved forward, weapons raised. Alex knew he was outmatched. He closed his eyes, bracing for the inevitable. But then, Lyra stepped forward. Her eyes glowed with an ethereal light, and a wave of energy emanated from her body. The guards stumbled back, disoriented. Zorgon stared in disbelief. "You underestimate the Aravians," Lyra said, her voice resonating with power. "We are not as fragile as you think." Lyra unleashed a powerful psychic blast, stunning the Zidonians. Alex grabbed her hand, and they ran towards the spacecraft. They climbed aboard, and Alex fired up the engines. The spacecraft soared into the night sky, leaving the research facility behind. They didn't know where they were going, but they knew they had to find a safe place for Lyra, a place where she could be free, where she could rebuild her life. They traveled for days, dodging Zidonian patrols and navigating through uncharted space. Finally, they stumbled upon a hidden planet, a lush green world teeming with life. It was similar to Lyra's home world, a place where she could find peace and healing. They landed the spacecraft and stepped out into the vibrant landscape. Lyra took a deep breath, her eyes filled with tears. It's beautiful, she whispered. Alex smiled. It's home. They spent the next few months exploring the planet, discovering its secrets and building a new life for themselves. They were not alone. They found other survivors, refugees from other worlds who had been displaced by the war with the Krill. Together they formed a new community, a beacon of hope in a galaxy filled with darkness. Alex and Lyra worked, side by side, helping others heal and rebuild their lives. They shared their stories, their knowledge, and their love. They became leaders, guiding their community towards a brighter future. One day, as they stood together overlooking their new home, Lyra turned to Alex, her eyes filled with gratitude. "You saved me, Alex," she said. "You gave me a second chance." "You saved me too, Lyra," Alex replied. "You showed me the true meaning of compassion, of hope, and of love." They embraced, their hearts filled with a love that transcended species and worlds. They had risked everything for each other, and in doing so they had found something truly extraordinary, a love that could heal the broken and bring light to the darkest corners of the galaxy. The broken alien girl was healed with love and affection,